now we're back in your world.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, you know, on the phone during the call where I'm still hearing most of everything, I've, you know, at this point, put up my briefs, you know, didn't wipe. You know, I have a plate carrier by the door. I'm a little bit of an over-prepper. And
I know this is a panic situation, but... Her dogs are very non-aggressive. But I guess a lot of people come to her house, so they're just curious. I'm glad they weren't aggressive, because then they would have gotten, like, hurt.
Nico, we're already in. Look, there's a camera right there. We're already in. Just do it. Go. If this ain't listen. If this ain't go, just get it. We got a problem.
You got more than a... Ooh. Where's the money at? Where's the crypto? What the f? Give us the crypto, please. What the hell? So you got one saying, I'm gonna punch you and kill you, and then you got another one saying, please. Okay. I can't listen to that. I'm sorry.
Hey, yeah, the camera. I'm taking the phone. Hurry up. Come on.
Oh, in here. It's in here.
I'm so sorry. Come on. Go.
They were smarter. If they were smarter, they wouldn't have done this in the first place, because they're after crypto. If they were smarter, they wouldn't be asking her to put crypto in a bag. Damn. They robbed for crypto? Yes. They were going for the crypto. Hi, Dark Lord. Hello.
Right, so I'm Colion Noir, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already seen the video.
No longer asking. Put the crypto in the bag. Oh, God.
That I did about the home invasion that Caitlin experienced, and also Nick, who actually did the shooting as well. And so what I wanted to do was kind of basically go through exactly what happened, because I know I talk about self-defense, protecting your home, so forth and so on, but we don't always get the perspective of the people who actually lived through it. And so what I want to be able to do is actually walk through what happened, and so that people can take whatever information they can take from it.
They have a nice
your
house,
experience
though.
And your experience as well.
Oh,
and then
solar
make
panels.
the adjustments accordingly, so that if they happen to be in that type of situation, you can kind of be better prepared for it. Even though y'all actually did a pretty damn good job. So yeah. So yeah, let's walk through it and see what happened. One thing I noticed when I first got here was, like, you guys' place is pretty well guarded. Like, it's a pretty hard place to get into from the front.
Barbed wired?
So they didn't get in through
Holy.
the front. They got in through the back.
yes.
All right, so kind of talk to me about what happened and how they got in.
Yeah, in hindsight, we reviewed the security camera footage so we can really, like, piece together the timeline. 10:30 something, you start here. Unfortunately, this camera that's up here, it goes out, and so you can't see that for the 10-minute stretch, but you can hear it from the other cameras that there's some kind of activity going on here. It's like a sawing, a banging on it, and then basically, eventually, however they do it, they get 3 of these boards, which these are, we put new nails in to just secure it for now. 3 of these boards, basically, they pulled them out, and then they basically vaulted in.
Gotcha.
So if they used, like, this type of wall instead of the wooden wall, if they used, like, brick, they probably couldn't have gotten in.
Did they even attempt to try to get in through the front?
They did. Briefly, one of my cameras caught them, you know, kind of making an approach from like kind of diagonally to the front, right? And then when the floodlights and stuff, because we have a lot of kind of security stuff out front, started flickering on, they clearly like, you know, changed
There was
their,
barbed
you know,
wire.
method of
No, there
attack,
was
yeah.
see,
Okay.
see,
All right,
if
so
it
then
was
once they got
higher
into this area here,
and
what happens
had the
next?
barbed wire on top.
They basically marched
Like
straight
here.
across towards where the patio is, and usually
Because they
the,
got
curtains-
in by taking the wood panels off. So if it was not wood, unless they're actually stupid and want to suffer barbed wire damage, then go for it.
are opened out, you know, especially at night. And like they see the dogs, and you can see that they optically opt to go through the garage to hopefully avoid the dogs. It seems.
Gotcha. Okay, so I can see. Okay, so this is the garage area right here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right, because even my mind now.
Is this smart to do though? Like show your whole home layout? I feel like because a lot of streamers are so cautious of showing the layout of their home. I mean, she's big. Everybody knows practically where she lives. But now the inside of her home is being shown. And now all the security is being shown.
Now,
Yeah.
with the knowledge I have, if I kind of walked in and saw that, I
Yeah.
Maybe
would've
they have
thought that
plans
was
to
the interior of the
move?
house.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so basically they come here and then like they see the dogs. The dogs are like right at the thing looking at them, right? And
On
like
on the other side of
this
or
barrier. This
Gotcha,
because that
okay.
barrier is there. The curtains are not there.
Gotcha,
Right.
okay.
They're drawn, and then so like the dogs are just here looking. Princess is barking like a little bit, but like they're not really like it's like
They
oh,
changing
weird,
and
there's strangers
upgrading
here,
everything?
But, like, you know,
Okay.
they're here to play or whatever. Then they optically go here, and that's when it gets a little comedic in that like this is always unlocked, which you know, like this glass door.
She has
And
enough
so
money
instead of
to hire
checking it whatsoever,
security.
They just instantly go to smashing, you know, in the glass, and
They
then
just slid
Just
it
gonna-
open.
yeah, and then suddenly
They
they're
didn't even try. They didn't even.
Happy
even
birthday,
try to slide
Otto.
it open. They just.
they just
Okay.
went for the thing, right? And then in here we have a bunch of like, you know, we entertain our nieces and nephews a bunch, and so there's a lot of kids' toys and just, you know, random doodads, and it's very cluttered. And so then there's this comical thing because there's a camera in there also of like, they just are falling over things. It's dark. They're
Okay.
tripping over everything. They're swimming through this trash basically.
Okay. Yeah, that would have flushed the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah. So they're tripping all over, and then like you can see they finally make it to the door, and they're
my
thinking. I'm assuming that it
God.
must be okay. Now we're gonna get in the house, and they open
Why
it.
do you have
and now they're
cardboard
facing the
boxes?
dog
Throw those
boxes.
away.
This is an attached garage. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
That's hilarious. as shit.
Okay.
And that's on video. At this point, we're gonna cut to you and where you were at this time.
So I was laying in bed, and the three guys come in this hallway.
Pay me to
after
clean
they
your
bust
house,
down the
Amouranth.
door,
I'll do it.
And then they turn all the lights on.
They told me.
They
Okay.
turn, I'm just like, what is happening? At this point, I already have
Why
Nick
is your
on the
chandelier
phone because
crooked?
as I was laying here, right, I went to bed.
Unless that's
early,
part
he
of the
was still in his
design?
man cave across the driveway. I put on my sleeping mask, and about like maybe 2 minutes after I did that, I hear really loud bangs coming from beneath this. I guess that was them breaking the glass door.
Gotcha, okay.
But I didn't know that at the time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes,
Makes
I
sense,
know what's
yeah.
happening. I just hear really loud crashing sounds, and I call Nick and I asked if he heard that. He says no, it's probably the dogs because our dogs.
I
will
love
jump
her
on the
spirit
table and the
pillow.
crates on the patio
Gotcha.
and make noise. But I felt like it was way too loud for dogs, and so I told him, well, I'm gonna lock the doors.
Boots on the bed.
anyways. If you want to come in later, call me because I'll probably be asleep. And I went and locked this door, and then I locked my bedroom door over there. And I try to lay
The
back
thing
down.
Hex is
And
worried.
then a
Yeah,
few
I'm
minutes
worried
later,
about the
I
dirtiness
hear
of the
even
house.
louder bangs coming
That's a
from
pretty
that
house.
door,
Why is it
and then
dirty?
some shots because they were trying to shoot it open. And then they finally kicked it in, crashed, and that's when the three of them entered and turned on the lights. And so at this point, they're pointing guns at me, telling me to stand up. And so I come over here as they're like coming at me with the guns pointed at me, and I sit in this chair, and one of them has the gun pointed at my
So
head.
they sat you on the chair. Or you sat you.
I
they
sat
just-
on the chair.
Okay, gotcha.
Because they said stand up, but if they're coming this way, I don't really have anywhere else to go,
Gotcha.
right? And one of them has the gun pointed at my head, and the other one is asking where the crypto is, and he can hear all this too, because it's going.
Yeah, relationally,
Oh.
I don't know where the phone is, but like I can hear, you know, this. Yeah.
Gotcha. So okay. So where was the phone at the time when?
At first, I had it when I sat down initially, but as he was asking where's the crypto, and I said I don't have it, he took my phone and then told me to unlock it for him, and then I guess he was looking for the Coinbase app, which I don't even have on my phone.
Gotcha.
And so when he didn't find that, he asked again, "Where's the crypto?" And I said, "I don't have it. It's not here." And then the guy pointing the gun said, "Hit her." Luckily, I had actually taken some influencer boxing courses because I was going to be in this huge tournament like a few years ago.
Okay.
And so my instincts went up just like to defend myself, and so that's why like my face looks okay. But I did get a laceration underneath my hairline on top of my head, and then like my hand is still recovering.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
From earlier this month, yeah. And so I was just going like this, and they hit me 3 times.
And they were hitting you with the gun.
Yeah, pistol whipping.
Ah, okay.
Not shooting.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
Ray.
did that along with the crypto is still, right?
So did they? So okay. So they assumed it was you still had it on exchange. Or,
Yeah,
on
I
Coinbase
think
or
they
whatever,
might have
and then-
thought there was like a cold storage
Gotcha,
device somewhere that
that was okay.
that they didn't know where it was. They're trying to like get the answer out of me. And so after the 3rd pistol whipping, I just figured that they're not going to stop beating me. If I don't give them what they want, they might even shoot me, right? Because
Gotcha.
like they're already pointing at my head. They already shot the door down. So
Oh, damn.
I knew I just had to do something. I didn't really have a plan, but I just knew that there's no way they're going to let me like open up my bed drawers to grab my gun or anything.
So that was going to be my next question. So you do keep a gun up here?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We do. But, you know, usually in my mind, it's always been like, oh, you hear you hear people break in, your camera alerts you, and you have time to figure it out. But not in this case. It
Yeah.
happened way too fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, you know, you actually technically did hear it, but because the kind of human mind, we don't want it to be what the worst case scenario is, right?
Right.
So because I probably would have done the same, like, nah, you know, you just
Right.
kind of let it go. But then your intuition did kind of kick in, so you decided, hey, I'm gonna call Nick. It's like something's not right, right?
Yeah.
And then inevitably, if you hadn't have done that, this could have probably honestly gone totally different,
Yeah.
like totally different. So, and then at this point in time, you were over there in the man cave.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
whole detached, separate structure. We originally merged 2 lots, and so that's the 2nd lot. And you know, it's like how we do work life separation. It's like I have an office up there, I have like a man cave up there. She has her studios downstairs, and then there's a gym in that area. And so I'm in my man cave. And then like a lot of people mention like, oh, well, how did you not hear? It's like that entire structure is hyper sound insulated, right? The idea was if I'm above her, I should be able, or she should be able to yell. I shouldn't be able to hear, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of worked against us in this case because I'm in the bathroom taking care of my business.
You mean you were
right?
taking a
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. If we can say that, then we'll go with that. Yeah. I was taking a you know, and then like she called me back within 2 minutes, right? So it's like I don't know what, like 10:48, 49 p.m. Okay. And then, you know, I pick up, I just finished, you know, the thing, and then it's on speakerphone, and then I hear the thing play out like instantly, right?
Gotcha.
Like it really felt like the whole Taken thing, except I didn't speak to the bad guy on the phone. Is the only difference. Yeah.
Right. So at this point, finish off where you were when they had you here, gun to your head, they were beating you, they pistol whipping you with your gun and whatnot. All right, so then what happens from there?
Yeah, after the 3rd hit, I just was like, I'm got to do something different. So I pretended that I knew where it was. Like, oh, I remember where I put it actually. Hold on, I'll show you. You can have it all. And so I'm like, kind of like jogging. I don't have any shoes on either. I'm just like in my socks and pajamas, and I'm jogging through the hallway. Well, now it's all, we're getting a new door and everything. So yeah, I'm going through here. You can actually see, because my hands were covered in blood from my head and my hand being hit. You can see the blood still as I was like balancing myself. And I didn't even realize it at the time because I guess the adrenaline, but they had pulled my hair back. We saw on the security
Like
camera.
right here, like he just grabs a fistful of her hair and just yanks back, and you almost fall on your back in the video.
Yeah.
And like she doesn't remember that in the moment because, you know, whatever, but that's what me and Jacob saw looking at the footage, like just right after the thing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so I'm leading them across here. And at this point, I don't really have a plan, because I just know that any of the options for defense, whether it's going to be him or the panic room, are in this other building. Okay, so this is the building. And I don't actually know how close they are behind me, because I wasn't looking back at all. And so
So you were kind of like at a jog trot.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. As much as you can do in
Bare
bare
feet,
feet.
yeah.
Bare feet. And so I know that this panic room that we have, the door historically, every time I try to open and close it, is very heavy. And I just don't know if I have time with 3 of them chasing me to actually close it effectively before they just push it against me. And so I decided I'm just going to run up here.
So now we're back in your world.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So basically, you know, on the phone during the call where I'm still hearing most of everything, I've, you know, at this point, put up my briefs, you know, didn't wipe. You know, I have a plate carrier by the door. I'm a little bit of an over prepper, and so I slipped that on. And I typed in a little thing into my little.
I know this is a panic situation, but Okay.
You know, gun.
You could have
safe
kept
thing,
that
just for a
out. You
handgun,
didn't
right?
have to say that.
Did
Oh.
you get it right the first time? The code.
I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
But okay, so I have a really dumb code that you can't really mess. It's like the same number.
Didn't wash his hands.
Okay.
Stop.
And the reason I asked that is for my own personal, because sometimes I'm in a situation where if I have a gun in my safe, like that, is the adrenaline going to cause me to kind of fuck up the first time and then kind of go back? Because it can be a little kind of hard to do that. So that's why I asked.
What's he doing?
And so
What do you
I
mean? What's he
knew right
doing?
then-
They're explaining the plan that they went through. Hex, if your life was on the line, would you want? I've actually had many thoughts about this. You know, every time I get like there's a storm about to come, or I feel like a migraine is coming, or I feel the power is going to go out at any moment, I shower beforehand because like I think that this could be the time when all hell breaks loose and I probably won't get to shower for like a couple of days. So I always shower before and I deep clean the out of my body because I am so paranoid that I may never get a chance to do it again.
And that, like, you know, unfortunately, most of my guns are locked away. I have my concealed carry, you know, 9mm handgun, and then I also have a shotgun. But because I know, you know, hearing that they're, you know, hitting her and are clearly close in proximity, I know that the shotgun isn't going to be the thing. So I slip on the plate carrier. You know, I take the gun out of the locker after I press the code, and I'm running down here, and I run to this door. By the time I get to this door, like, they're clearly on the move, and like my you know, Google Home thing is flashing with notifications like person moving across camera 2 upstairs, person moving across camera 3.
Damn.
I don't know if it's a 5-second or a 30-second delay. I just know that they are on the move. And then, you know, like hearing it, like she's clearly leading them somewhere. And so I figured she's definitely going to lead them here because not only is the panic room here, I'm here, and she was on the phone with me, right? Okay. So everything that isn't out, so to speak, is here. And so with that in mind, and this is the thing, right? Like full sprint from here to the master is like 2.5 minutes probably. Their whole elapsed time from the door coming down to me shooting the guy is like 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Like we tell the story and it's like, oh, it sounds like half an hour, but no, it's like less than 5 minutes, right? And it's like, you know, from on the toilet and up. And so I'm at the door and then I realize, okay. And then luckily we have these lights kind of like the other place where if you smash the top, they go max brightness because it's the gym, right? Okay. And so the idea, like, luckily I have a little bit of experience, you know, now that I've seen camera work, I'm like, oh, the lighting's like an important thing. So I turn on all the lights here max, and then I run up here and I turn off this whole staircase lights. Okay,
so at this point, where are you at this, after you smash the lights? So you're.
Then I run up and I want to close the lights here so that there's at least some.
Before I go.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then like as luck would have it, like I'm coming back down and then they're like it's so fast, right? And so then basically it was tough because I knew it's like you know, in the movies it's like, oh, someone's holding your loved one at gunpoint and it's like, oh, you just take the perfect shot, but like I know enough to know that you can't take that, like that kind of thing. Like I can at least. And so like I was.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah. So because you mentioned something, I'm gonna go back real quick. You talked about starting between a shotgun and a handgun, right? So what made you choose a handgun over the shotgun?
Lights don't close. I'm gonna hold you right there, light years. Okay. I got you on this one. Okay. Drac was saying something, okay, and then he goes, "Hold on, I'm gonna open my lights." I was like, "Excuse me? Can you say that again?" And he goes, "What?" And I'm like, "What are you doing with the lights?" And he goes, "I'm gonna open my lights." And I'm like, "What do you mean, open your lights?" And he was like, the lights are off. And I'm like, "You mean turn on the lights?" And he was like, "Yeah, same thing." And I'm like, "Is that a Canadian thing? Do you guys just say I'm gonna open the lights? I'm gonna close the lights?" I was giving him so much shit for that. Well, kinda. He's technically correct. That's how circuits work. Anyway.
Kind of leading you into what you're getting at now.
That, like, so if it was me hold up, I would probably pick the shotgun. But because I'm going to them, one thing, and then the second thing, the more important one is that she's with them in close proximity. It just felt like that was too much of a blunt instrument.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so, my hope was that like, I didn't think she would respond if I told her to get down. And so I was like, I need to have a window of actually firing. And so I picked a spot where I thought, there could be some separation. And so they come here, she's here, and she's leading them, right? And she gets to here, and I tell her to get down. And like, I still credit her with acting so like, she's so cogent and calm that like she gets down immediately. Okay. She just gets all the way down. And then like, these three, they rush up here and then they line up briefly. And so I only see what the first guy's doing, right? Like I'm just tunnel visioning on him. And he looks up at me and like in the moment, like it's all on mute, right? Like, stress and adrenaline's at its peak. And so he yells something at me as he's raising his, hand holding the gun. And I don't know what that is. I see his mouth moving. And then so, I have my gun roughly trained on him. And then I fire, 3 shots, even though, and I thought, they'd be loud, but like, it was literally like, I didn't hear the shots.
Which is crazy because we're in here right now, so you're gonna get some decent level of vibration.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, no, there's the volume was off, right?
Yeah, my ears were ringing. So.
Yeah.
Oh, so your ears were, okay, because at that point, you were already kind of out of the adrenaline.
Yeah, she wasn't even looking at the thing. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so like, I can tell he's hit somewhere because he stumbles back, and if I had to guess, like, I aim center, but because no one expects to, I don't train on an incline, so it's like I went low. Yeah. Like, right? And so he stumbles back.
What if he shot him in his peen?
And from my vantage point, it's like, I can't see them anymore. So I run to her, she's still huddled here. I grab her and I pull her up, and she had no idea what the outcome was. Yeah. Right? Shots are going.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so I pull her up, I lock the door up there.
That's why.
So did they get a shot off back towards you, or?
He said he aimed down.
Gotcha.
Later on, because I've never in my life fired a 22, but they found a 22 shell casing and then the actual bullet. So it's like somewhere but like who knows, right?
Yeah, he had the bulletproof vest on, so.
Yeah, I play carrier. Well, they didn't hit me. I know that.
Yeah. There you go.
What gun was it?
It was a Staccato CS.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So not a huge gun, but I mean decent capacity, about 16 plus 1. I mean 15 plus 1. Yeah. So okay. Also, and so at that time when you went to grab it, what was your thought process in terms of grabbing the gun, in terms of thinking through? Like, did you see your sights? Did you have a red dot on it? Did you see the red dot? So forth and so on.
Yeah, I have a red dot on all my guns, basically. It's just easier for me because I it's like not a profession. So it's like, I don't have that level of comfort. I want it to be pick up and go. But in that case, like, there's a lot of things I don't remember. One is I don't remember turning the safety off. And then one is that, like, no, I don't remember seeing the dot line up. It was more so like just instinctual. You pick it up. And then luckily muscle memory kicked in, safety off, and then, you fire the shots.
And that's why I kind of always talk about, like, when you go out and train, like, just do even a little bit, just train a little bit of not using your sights. And what I mean is just point shooting, just drawing, and then just acting as if you're startled and presenting a gun. Because like you just talked about, you had a red dot on there, right? And you didn't even remember seeing the red dot, which I think is what's going to happen with most people. And people I've talked to who've been in situations, I've yet to meet one person that said, oh yeah, I had a clear front sight, or I had that red dot dialed in on exactly what I was shooting at. It's never, ever happened from the people I've talked to. So being able to do that, I think is gonna be incredibly valuable. And then so like now you're on the ground, crouched down. So what's going through your head? Because at this point, you're leading them into a situation. You know he kind of knows what's going on to a degree, but you don't know exactly. So what's going through your mind at that point?
It sounds crazy, but like not that much. I guess the shock, and now it's my head starting to pound more. Gotcha. And so he tells me to hide, and I go to the balcony that we have, and I just huddle there in the corner until the police come. And then as I'm sitting on the balcony, though, I'm thinking like, I don't know if he's dead or not, because I didn't look back, and he went to go fight the bad guys. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you don't know if they're going to come back.
Correct.
They
yeah.
dragged them off.
It felt like now with the benefit of hindsight, you see them. They get shot, they never stop running, right? Like the security camera outside this building shows them coming in, 3 shots firing, them running out like Scooby-Doo villains. They never stop running through the whole property. Every camera's catching them running. And the guy who got shots in shock yelling, just on repeat, I got shot. I got shot. I got shot.
Gotcha. And so they went out the way they came in.
Yeah, like just, and then like the guy who got shot stumbles because it's like a little bit of a vault over, and so he stumbles and like leaves he leaves blood all along the driveway, and then he leaves a little pool where he fell over of the thing. But to me, I shot one guy. There's 3 armed guys. They seem pretty determined. I thought for sure they're gonna avenge their buddy, or they're gonna come for what they were here for. Right. And so I was standing guard behind that door, and then this is the call I made to 911. And then like, even, you know, like
Damn.
as I was saying it, like cause like, oh, so this is the part I haven't mentioned as much, but it's like, we get swatted a lot.
Okay.
Like that also is a big risk that comes with the live streaming, right? Because if they can get that instant feedback of I swat the person and I see them being swatted, that's like that sends them into overdrive, you know? Like a YouTube thing, you'd edit it out, right?
Yeah.
And like so
Unless
like,
Peter told me to keep it in there.
and so it's like, honestly, like at times it felt like once a month, and you know, even in
Damn.
it's at least once every other month. It happens all the time.
Crazy.
It is, yeah.
That is crazy.
It's at a certain scale of live streaming.
That
and like, obviously
much?
bigger people, it affects them even more.
Yeah.
It's like,
Jesus
you know, some of them, like, it's like, you know,
Christ.
they have the person, the responder on phone, and then they're just like, you know, we're gonna send someone over, just show them your ID, say everything's okay, right?
Yeah.
That's what it becomes, right? The first time.
I didn't know
you
it
your
was that
military
many times
hogtied
she got
before,
swatted.
Guys with guns are swarming the place.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, a cop shows up and he just, you know, looks at your ID, asks you a few questions, and it's done, right? So like for me, bumps in the night, if they involve people, they've always been a swatting. And so like my first response actually can't be, you know, imagine in suburbia America, you show up and open the front door with a gun, like
That's why literally my mind was like, "F***ing dangerous." Shit.
Yeah. So it's
can-
almost like, you know,
Damn.
historically more dangerous to be like guns out running around the
crazy,
place like a cowboy, right? And so, you know, but in this case, I felt pretty good that it was definitely not any kind of authority thing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I felt like somewhat freed up to act in that way. Yeah.
So now, from that perspective, having gone through all of that, so what kind of, and you know, within reason, because there's no point to just share everything at that point, and then now everybody knows the whole system. But like, kind of what changes mentally, physically have y'all kind of undergone in terms of, you know, potentially guarding against something like this happening again?
More security, better reinforced walls. You know, it's like if you have two big cement walls and then some wood ones, well, they're going to go to the wood ones probably, if they can at all.
It's either move or make yourself an optically and actually just harder target, right? Yeah.
Because I mean, like, even from the police standpoint, I'm like, how many times did you call the cops? Did you ever call the cops at any point?
No.
it
I
was,
called
it was
twice.
Okay.
Once,
they took my phone.
Gotcha.
So.
yeah. So once was when they were halfway, like not halfway, but like they were rounding the driveway and starting that journey, and then the phone finally disconnects. That's when it actually. So I stopped getting the audio feed, but still the camera was pinging, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And
Jesus,
then
Ray,
I
that
called
is
the cops,
so
and, like,
sad.
literally that first call, and you know, I it's fair because it's like I've never been on the, you know, the calling side of the equation. It's someone swatting
And I
me,
think,
right?
and it's
And
not.
so then I'm over there, and like every time I got swatted previously, I would ask them, you know, after they were done sweeping the place, I'd be
The cops can't even track who made the call, right? Because then I feel like the swatting would lower. Because that's a waste of resources. That's a crime. They can, but I think most of the people who do it just spoof their location anyways.
be like, what do they even say? And it was always something hyper outrageous, like, you know, oh, there's a hostage situation, you know, the kids are still here, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And in this case, I picked up the phone. I said, hey, you know, there's 3 guys. They have my wife at gunpoint, and it's kind of a hostage situation. I was like, this just is a swatting call. And then you could tell they were like, you know, maybe they sent someone immediately, but they were kind of like, okay, hold on, more slowly, sir. Like, you know, who are you and what's the situation? It's like, you know, and then at that point, you know, I go, they're coming, I gotta go. And they go, no, you know, stay, whatever. I was just like, all right, I'm hanging up.
Gotcha.
And I do the thing, and then I call them back.
Yeah. So the reason I asked you that too is the first thing that just went through my head was like, damn, it's like you even if you wanted to wait for cops, you couldn't. You didn't have the time. All right. So that's crazy, and that's something I'm always kind of pointing out. It's like it's not that cops don't want to be there. It's not like they can't be there. They literally can't be there.
Yeah.
They just can't be there at time. Like even for you, like you were in your bed.
Yeah.
Like you're not calling the cops. Like there's nothing they're gonna do to help you in that situation.
Yeah, and if I was on the phone with the cops, it could have just shot me, right?
There's that too. Yeah, I didn't even think about that actually.
And like, you know, the second call, it was about 8 minutes. So it's pretty fast, right? Like it's like on the scale of it, I think it's pretty fast.
Yeah.
And like, but this whole thing from her door coming down, if you start the clock at that point, to me shooting the guy, it was like 4 minutes, 30 some odd seconds. So it's like, it's double that time still.
That's
you know?
crazy. And like just like you said, walking that from them getting into there, walking to where she was, then having her come out of here. We're not even kind of factoring in everything that happened on the chair, right? So there's that, and it's still just 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's fast.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think we still have the blood in the bullet holes.
A little
behind
bit,
you,
yeah.
actually.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The guy getting shot, and then the bullet holes in the wall right here.
Well, no, I mean, I really appreciate it because, you know, like I said, very few people.
The
are
way
gonna go
she's,
through
I
this,
think she's like,
but nobody knows if they're going to go through it, right? So that's why I kind of wanted you guys to kind of walk through it for me, so that we can give your side of the story, and then people can kind of learn from that. And I know a lot of people thought it was fake.
Right.
she's
because you were
not,
posting it
she's
on-
not in
on
a
Twitter and on social media and so forth and
and a
so
lot
on.
of it's 'cause I didn't see
entertaining,
the blood
like, you know,
until,
set,
like,
like,
because most of
mindset.
the security footage of me running over here, it was still like in my hair,
Gotcha.
and so
And your
yeah,
hair's red.
It is red.
Yeah, gotcha.
But then by the time that I guess on the balcony, I was like just checking out my own wounds, and then like because I rubbed my head, it started bleeding more. So
And they brought medical people, so once they reached us, it was like, you know, momentary before the medical people were absolutely on her. But like when me and the first responder turned to look at her, my first time really seeing her in the light, like it was just a lot of blood coming down, and it looked a lot, like it looked like we both asked, like, you know, are you hit? You know,
And I think part of the reason where you got some of the it's fake aspect too is because the main video we saw was you running to this door.
Right.
Right. And so without context, it just seems freaking odd. It's like,
Yeah.
what? She's like trotting to the door
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and you're like, what the hell? But now within the full context, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and then the other part was like they go, wait, you said you were woken up by them, but why are you running to the front
But
door?
exactly, right? But they
Right?
didn't have the layout.
Yeah,
of
I
the
saw
way
that
things
too.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I really do appreciate you letting us kind of come into you guys' house and just showing the world essentially what happened. And I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you.
Did your shit. Good shit. Good shit. Like, that was
He's
a
the
good
hero.
shit. Yeah.
I just ran. I was like, I don't know what to do.
No, I mean, for a lot of people, like, you know, they don't have, and like you said, it wasn't like you had this planned out in your mind and you had this, but you had some level of preparation, which helped you in that regard, right? For everything that went wrong. And
What they did was really smart.
Wrong. And so, I'm not going to lie to you, play care of some G yeah, I always thought about doing the same thing, right? So last question. And
like for him to like guesstimate and like calculate how everything was going, because they said, yeah, he had her on the phone and was listening, and then all the cameras are pinging where they were. To be that like aware and not freak out and panic is really smart. That was good.
might be a difficult one, may not be. If you didn't have access to a firearm, what do you think you would have or could have done?
I have no idea. It's almost like because I afterwards, you know, you run the scenario endlessly, and you're like, you know, even in my scenario, I could shave a few seconds off by not getting my gun, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And so it's like, what would I do? Rush over there and then,
Just-
you know, like,
yeah.
oh, hey guys, like I know where it is. Like, that's all you can do. Like I know where the crypto is. She doesn't know. Let her go.
Yeah.
If you let her go, I'll show you. Like something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then like, you know, it ain't great, but like I guess it fixes her.
Yeah.
Maybe, right? Maybe because like there's three of them.
Yeah.
If one guy goes with her,
Then-
he's still
Nah, because if that would have happened, they would have shot him. It's like they're like, oh, who are you? And then they would like panic shoot, you know?
That's true. That's actually
So
very
it's
true.
like I've thought about it.
Then
I'm
again,
like,
I
have no
don't
idea.
know if they would have shot because like one of them was saying please. So I don't even know. The one that was hitting her probably would have shot.
Yeah, like that was
Yeah.
the only like path that didn't lead to like disaster. It seemed like.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
makes sense. Damn, well, it's crazy.
Yeah, you don't risk
But no,
that.
I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm glad everything worked out as best.
Were
it could.
all of them
One thing's
armed?
for certain and two things are for sure.
Were they all armed or was it only one? I can't remember what they said. At least he had the decency to say please while the other guy was hitting. Yeah, that was wild. That was crazy.